My name is Gerald Buffington. This is lesson 4.7 for the IT235 class. What I'm going to show first is the instructions that we have to be doing. We're going to be using Active Directory. So here is creating all of these users, computers, organizational units, then creating the new users, using the file folder to create a folder, then creating the following subfolders in that folder, assigning the following users to the operational units, and assigning the NTFS file permissions. Okay, and then I have to submit a recording of that. All right, so that is what I am about to do, and I'll just pause until I get that set up. And my virtual machine is stopped. I can see that because the start button is enabled. So I'm going to start my virtual machine. I'm going to wait until it tells me that it is started. I can watch up here, or I can watch until the stop button is enabled, which also confirms that the virtual machine has started. And here we can see that the virtual machine has started. So now I'm going to go to my RDP file. I'm going to double click on it in order to make the connection to the remote desktop. We're going to be given our typical warning. And I'm going to be asked to log in using my password. And here we go. Desktop creation was being good. Do we want to connect to it? Yes. We don't care about this connection. I'm going to say, don't ask me again. And so, yeah, we can keep going. And my remote desktop will come up. And here it is on my other monitor. So I'll just put it in here so that we can see what's happening on this desktop. Okay, I'll just slide that down a little bit there. And we've got the server manager is there. And the first thing that we've been asked to do is, using Active Directory users and computers, create the following new organizational units. So we're going to be doing that. So we're going to go back to our monitor, Active Directory users and computers, under ensign.corporation. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create these organizational units. So I've expanded the ensign.corp. I'm going to right click on that. I'm going to do a new. I'm going to do operational unit. And the first operational unit, what we're going to do is employees. And let's see if I got that spelled right. EMPLOYEES. Okay. And we're going to create another operational unit. I'm going to click up here. New operational unit. And we're going to call that HR. And to save you time, you can see that I have created the new operational units called employees, HR, IT, management, research, shareholders, accounting, and auditors. These organizational units, sorry, I sometimes call them operational units. The next thing that we've been asked to do is to create, using the Active Directory, create users, computers, and create the following new users. So we're going to pause for a second. We will now create some new users. Right click on users, right click on go to new and user. And in here, we'll create the name Sarah. and we're only given first name, so we're just going to do that. So we'll use Sarah and password. And we don't want any restrictions here. And we're going to finish, and here is Sarah. Okay, so now we're going to create our next user. And now we have Ted as a user. And here we have Phil as a user. We can see that the Murga user has been created. And here we can see the Spencer account has been created. And the Tim user has been created. And here is our Dean user. Janine is now in the list. Pearl is the latest addition. Frank has now been added to the list. And here is Sally. We now have Bruce on the list. Stephen has been added to the list. And we're going to now make our last user. And here is Guy. Okay, so there we are finished with creating those new users. Next that we have to do is create a folder in the File Explorer. So we're going to pause here. So on our remote desktop, we're going to minimize all of these things, and we're going to go into the Windows Explorer. So okay, File Explorer, so the File Explorer, and we're going to open up the File Explorer. And here we are. We've been asked to create the following folder. Promised Land. Now, I am going to create that on the C drive. Okay, so here we go. And I'm going to click on here. I'm going to do new folder. And we're going to call it Promised Land. Okay. And inside Promised Land, we are going to create other folders. This one is Employees. Right click, new folder, Employees. Okay, and we'll repeat that for the rest of the folders. So here we can see all of the new folders. I'm just going to slide that across and verify that we have everybody. I'm going to bring up what our list requirement was. It's supposed to be employees, HR, IT is there, management is there, research is there, accounting is there, stakeholders are there, and auditors. Okay, so we have all of the folders that we were supposed to create. We're doing step 5, which is assigning the users to operational units. So I'm going to bring that over here so that you can see Sarah is going to HR. So we're going to click on users here. We're going to find Sarah. Sarah, right click on her. We're going to move her to HR. Okay, and we see she's gone here, and we can see that she is in HR. So I am now going to use the same process to move all of these users, and then I'll show you that they have been done. We're now moving Ted to research. We're moving Phil to research. We're moving Murtog to IT. We're moving Spencer and Tim and Dean to stakeholders. So Spencer and Tim and Dean. Where's Dean? There we're going to go. we're going to move them as a group to stakeholders. Okay, now we're going to move Jenny, Frank, and Pearl to management. Sorry, Janine and Frank and Pearl. We're going to move them to management. And Sally and Bruce are going to auditors. There's Sally and there's Bruce. And we're going to move them to auditors. I should probably say how I'm doing that. And Stephen, we're going to click on him. Then I'm going to hold down the control key and I'm going to click on Guy. So that has both of them. Then I'm going to right click on the mouse for this menu to pop up. Then I'm going to do the move. This pops up and to the container and it goes to accounting. Okay, so here we have Sarah in HR. We have Ted and Phil in research. Murtaugh in IT. Yeah, come on. Come on, where did my mousey go? Murtaugh in IT. Then we have Spencer, Tim, and Dean in stakeholders. In management, we have Janine, Frank, and Pearl. Okay. And in auditors, we have Sally and Bruce. And last but not least, we have Stephen and Guy are in accounting. So we've done step 5. And so now we are going to do our file folder by clicking on here, File Explorer. So we're now going to look at Promised Land. And in there, we want to look at the HR folder. And we are going to see the properties of it. And looking at the properties of it, sharing, security, previous versions, and customize. In security, we want to have Sarah to have full control. So we're going to edit that, and we're going to add Sarah. We're going to find her. That's her. And there we are. We're going to give her full control of the HR folder. Okay? All right. The next one that we have to do is we want to give Ted and Phil modify on the research folder. So we will go onto the research folder, go to its properties, and for security, we're going to edit and we're going to add Ted, okay, and Phil. Okay, and to Ted and Phil, we can't do 2 at a time. So we're just going to do for Phil, we're going to allow him modify control. And for Ted, we're also going to allow him modify control. Okay. And the next one that we have to do is Murtaugh has full control of the IT folder. So here we go, right click, properties, security, edit, add, MURT, Murtaugh, of course it's him, and we're going to add properties so that he has full control of the IT folder. There we go. My goodness, what happened here? Okay, we're doing MURT, check names, there he is, Murtaugh. Okay, and we're going to select him here, and we're going to have him have full control of the IT folder. Okay. Now we're going to do the stakeholders folder. And we are going to add to stakeholders folder one is Spencer. And there he is, Spence. And we're going to add him. And we are going to add Dean. And to Spencer, we're going to give him modify. To Dean, we're going to allow him modify. And on Spencer, Tim, and Dean. Spencer, Tim, we're going to allow him modify. Okay, I'm going to apply those. And we can see that it's Spencer, Tim, and Dean all have modify. Okay. Okay. Now we're going to look at the management folder. And we're going to right click there. Properties, going to go to security, edit, and we're going to add. And in the management folder, we want Janine. Okay. And we want Frank. Okay. And we want Pearl. Okay. And for Frank, we want him to have read and write to the management folder. Read and apply that to Frank. Then we'll go to Janine. You can have read and write. Okay. And Pearl, we'll give her read and write only. And we'll just look at them. Janine is read write, Pearl is read write, and Frank is read write. Okay. And Sally and Bruce have access to the auditors. Right click on that, properties, security, and we're going to add in there Sally. And we're going to add Bruce. And for Bruce, we're going to give him full control to the auditors. Okay. And for Sally, we're going to give her full control. Okay. And that's it for there. And now we're going to look at the accounting folder. Right click, and we're going to do properties there. And in the accounting folder, we're going to give Stephen and Guy modify properties. So Stephen and Guy. So we're going to give Stephen and Guy modify. Okay, we're going to add that. Stephen and Guy, we're going to modify. Okay, so there we have it. I'll now make a small correction that I did in the management group. So I'll go on the management group. I will go to properties. I will go to security. And for Janine, I will edit her. And I will give her Janine. I will give her list folder contents. Apply. Pearl. List folder contents. Apply. And Frank. List folder contents, apply. Okay. And we're done there. So I made that I had an error doing that earlier by following the specific instructions of doing only read and write. This should fix that.